All right, ladies, welcome to this episode of the She is Extraordinary podcast. I have a good friend of mine back for the second time. It's Beth Nydick. She is a media expert. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
Beth is a media expert. She's my go-to. She's also a business mentor, a speaker, an author, and a podcast host of a podcast you need to listen to. It is called Behind the Spotlight, and it is truly unique. You got it. You're going to love it. She has also been featured in Oprah, Forbes, to name only a few, and appearances on The Chew, The Dr. Oz Show, and The Tonight Show. And today we're talking about all things Clubhouse. So welcome, Beth.
Yes. I love the social audio, right, ladies? No makeup, no hair. You can lay in your bed or sit in the bathtub and have a conversation.
That's right. That's when I listen to podcasts, when I'm doing stuff that I really don't want to be seen doing. So.
It is. I describe it like, my mom says, what is this Clubhouse stuff? And I was like, it's like if you went to a radio station, but within the station, there were plenty of different stations plenty of channels to listen to.
That's
because
good.
It's like, it houses all of it. It's like Sirius. Like if you have Sirius radio, there's all these channels within Sirius. But I have to tell you that I'm loving Clubhouse because I want our listeners to really think about this. If you're someone who soars, who shines, when people listen to you talk about your genius, Clubhouse is for you. If you're an introvert and you're laid back, I actually would say, it's great for you to go see what it is, check it out, listen to some rooms. But if you're not going to be active, there's plenty of other places for you to be. Like, I think that's a real thing that people are missing, because all these people are coming on and just listening, which is great. But you're not listening to information that's a money-making activity, usually. There always is activities that are usual. But if you are not doing money-making activities every day, and wasting your time listening to somebody have a conversation about X versus doing X, I think it's a waste of time. So I want to give everybody that permission that it doesn't need to work for you. And if it doesn't, it's okay. There's plenty more coming out for that might work for you better.
Gosh, I love that. I love that truth thing. So a lot of my clients say, look, I'm doing all the things. You hear that all the time. I'm doing all the things. I'm on this platform, that platform. And then when I talk about Clubhouse, they're like, well, wait a minute, another thing that I'm going to put on my to-do list. First of all, don't have a to-do list. Okay. Get everything time blocked in your calendar. But
yes,
that's a really great point. So if you aren't ready to go all in and actively get on the stage of Clubhouse, which we'll talk about in a minute, then that's really great. Then do other things. Just for a moment, I want to tease the ladies listening about these money-making activities. Let's talk just for a moment about what you can do to grow your business as a result of being actively involved on Clubhouse. And I'm thinking of two, and then you can probably think of more, okay? You can grow your email list by getting on these stages, right? You can grow your following on Instagram or Twitter. Right? So let's talk about this for a second.
You can get clients. You can make connections to get venture capitalists. There's venture capitalist rooms. You can find joint venture partners. I have to tell you that I have a client right now that I got because she heard me in a Clubhouse room. I've also booked 5 stages because people have heard me in rooms in Clubhouse. So it's a connection place for you to create revenue generating activities.
That's excellent. And I can tell you for me, and I have not dived in yet to Clubhouse, but I plan to in June with the rebrand and new website coming out. Awesome. But it's an amazing platform, Clubhouse is, because I don't know of any other platform where you can hobnob and rub elbows with major influencers.
Oh yeah. Like me. No, I mean, no, you're totally right. I've been in rooms and had conversations with the executive producer of the Today Show, with the executive editor of Parents Magazine, of film directors. And I spoke to Justine Bateman. And for those of you that were born in the 70s, Justine Bateman was your childhood. So I got to speak to her. And there are people, I have friends that spoke to Elon Musk when he came on, and to Joe Rogan when he came on. John Lee Dumas, who's a huge podcaster who hosts rooms all the time. And not only speak to them, but also go into their DMs with something to say. I was just in your Clubhouse room, and I really appreciated you said XXX. I was wondering if you could answer this question, X. Starting that conversation with people you would never have that access to is a great point about what's amazing about Clubhouse and how to use it correctly.
Well, I'm in love with the platform, even though I'm not really there yet. So that's why I wanted to pull you on to pick your brain on this. Okay. So for those out there that this is kind of their entree into Clubhouse, I want to start in the beginning. What are some basic tips to get started?
Okay. So the thing that I want everybody to have when they get started on Clubhouse is their bio and their connection to their Instagram and or Twitter. Now, let me talk about the connections first. If you don't use Twitter, don't connect it to Twitter, because you don't want your audience or people who are interested in you going there and then there's nothing there for them. Connect them to your Instagram, which means you need to have your Instagram active. If you do not have your Twitter or your Instagram active, move on. It's not for you. It's not going to get you anywhere. Having your bio together. So the bios in Clubhouse are actually searchable by keywords and, listen up, emojis, which I think is the coolest thing. So in your bio, using the keywords, and if you're advanced, the SEO keywords you already use on your website, you're going to use those in your bio. But really in your bio, it's the who, what, where, when, and how of what you do. But it's also, unlike a lot of other places, it's your personality. So if one of my things that I always say is like, I have 2 teenage boys, 2 pit bulls, and I've been married for 22 years. That's in my bio. Also in my bio is my opt-in, how I want to be directed to. Do I want to be emailed? Do I want to be, I think I write something like my DMs are open, which says you can DM me, right? But also in the bio, and I want people to understand, when people are looking at it within the app, they only see the top 3 lines. So let's go to your marketing now. Your hook, story, close, at least your hook story needs to be in those top 3 lines. I think mine says media and messaging publicity strategist. And then the second line is TV cocktail expert. So if you're looking for media or publicity, I got you. And if you're like, she does this and a TV cocktail expert, I feel like, and I have 1,300 followers on the app. They've liked that piece of it because they've opened it up and connected with me in that way. But really it's not just about business, it's about who you are, because most of the rooms on Clubhouse and being on Clubhouse is really just about it's the networking events we can't go to. So if you were at a networking event, you would be like, hi, my name is Beth. I'm a da, 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 da. Be like, hi, I'm Beth. I'm from Jersey. That's the big piece of it.
That feels so
really
much better.
Person, right?
Yeah, that feels so much
I serve, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, where are you from? Do you have kids? Do you want to get a beer? Actually margarita in my case. But having those kind of conversations. So go check out the bios of people who you admire. Go check out the bios of the people that you feel are your competition or your colleagues. And then this is the way to do that for the app. Write the bio in Word, copy and paste it, or in text on your phone, copy and paste it into the app. It's just easier. I guess I'm dating myself. It's easier for me to see it that way. But
I agree.
I think, make sure there's no mistakes, no punctuation mistakes, have somebody else look at it, make sure it makes sense. But really, having all that information. And then if you're hosting rooms like I am, I have my list of hosting rooms in there. If I have my list, I have a club called Beth Nydick in there, which just means that you're involved in my community. And on the Clubhouse app, all that means is that you get notified when I have a room. Okay. Remember, this app is still in beta testing. So the way that it looks right now is not the way it's going to look a year from now. And I don't know what it's going to look, but.
And am I right? It's still only for iPhones right now, right?
Yes. All you Android users are out of luck. No, I actually, the update this week said that they are almost ready for beta testing Android, I believe.
We better.
That doesn't mean public testing. That could just be in their own things. But as soon as it's available, I'm sure everybody will know about it, because there's Quilt, which is another social audio app that's for really heart-centered entrepreneurs, a lot of spiritual people and healers, very woo-woo, and I'm all in the woo-woo, so I like that. And then there's another one coming out that's a little bit different called Fireside, which is a Mark Cuban investment. I actually met the founder of Fireside the other day. She's amazing. He's Mark Cuban. This is his second investment with her, so you can imagine how amazing she is.
That's for sure.
And there'll be more.
I have never heard of either of those. So,
well, I do the research for you, June.
Thank you. And I count on you for this. All right. So I want to talk about certain aspects of Clubhouse, and you mentioned a couple of them now, but I want to start in the beginning. Let's talk to the person who's never been on it. Okay. And so when the first time they go to the app after their bio is done, okay, what would you recommend they do to get acclimated to the app?
Okay. To get acclimated to the app, you're gonna, when you open the app, the page that you're on is called the hallway, and that's the space where all the rooms that the algorithm has decided that you would like are there. Okay, so at the top, there's a couple like special rooms that are, for me, those rooms are the rooms of the clubs that I'm following. We talked about clubs a second ago.
Yep.
And then just like all the other rooms that are there. But the algorithm for this app is a little bit different. And let me tell you about it. So the algorithm is comprised of the people that you follow mostly. So for example, I have 3 friends who are celebrity matchmakers. I was following them. But then I started seeing rooms about matchmaking. And I'm, as I said, married for 22 years. I'm not looking for another one. I'm actually right now I'm watching him walk the dog. He's so cute. I still like him. It's nice.
That's great.
So when you're following people, like you really want to make sure that you're not following your dentist because you don't want to have those kinds of rooms in your hallway. Really follow the people who you want to mentor you, right? Those coaches that maybe you haven't worked with yet, or those people that you admire. Like I follow mostly media people, either in the PR realm, in the TV realm, or bigger entrepreneurs. So like I'm just pulling up my app right now, and my first one is New Hollywood: Why Representation in Writers' Rooms Matters, because I follow a lot of writers and I follow a lot of people in the Hollywood area. But if let's say I'm a branding person, then I'm going to follow lots of branding people and marketing people. So all my rooms are going to be in that vein. And I think that's really important because you want to have the rooms that are suggested to you, because like there must be 15 rooms here suggested to me. Those are the ones that naturally you're going to gravitate towards because they're in your hallway and you're looking at them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And am I right though? At the beginning, you get to pick general topics that you're interested in.
Yes.
Even before you follow, right?
Right. So if you go into the app, there's the little microphone and it's the explore page. And there, when you pick everything that you want to follow, it's also on here too. So you can change everything. Nothing's like set in stone. Your algorithm can change. I can go and unfollow everybody. My algorithm would change, but you're going to pick those things that you want to do. Like I picked publicity and media and all that stuff, but I picked East Coast. I picked LA. I picked Hollywood. I picked Chicago because I also want to follow the big regions of the news that I do for work. I also did follow lots of cocktail stuff and lots of wellness stuff. I actually, I like theater. So I follow, and unbeknownst to me, when I first started the app, like people are doing audio only theater on the app. Like they did The Wiz a couple of weeks ago or a couple months ago now. Like they did Antigone, so I follow some actors and actresses because I want to see I want to listen. I want to hear the next play they're doing. So it's not just for business. Like I've done karaoke on the app.
I love it. That's so fun.
Amazing. There's huge comedians on the app now. One of the coolest things that happened to me about this app is that my teenage boys asked me to get on. They're like, "Mom, do you have an invite?" And I was like, yes, because whoever invites you on your bio, it'll say invited by. So I always thought that was very cool. But there's huge comedians that are on here. If you're into comedy, if you're like anything you're into, there's an availability to find other people that are into that. Like, there's a lot of faith-based sections also. So if you're faith-based, you can find all these rooms that are faith-based that have nothing to do with being an entrepreneur, but it's who you are. So the app is not just for business. It's also for creating creates the opportunity to be with other people who have the same interests outside of work.
Wow, that's beautiful. And again, we can go there without our makeup on, which is a good thing for us ladies. Let's talk about being in a room. Okay, you're in a room, and what is the etiquette? Can we just go over that for a bit?
Okay. So in your inner room, you're going to go into the audience. So there's 2 sections of audience. There's the audience that the people who are speaking on the stage follow, and then everybody else. So when you come into the room, you know me, I'm a big proponent of being in action. So I say, no matter what, when you come into the room, hit the little hand sign to raise your hand, and then listen to what they have to say. Which sometimes Like the other day, they pulled me right up on stage, and thank God somebody went before me because I basically didn't really listen enough. But usually in those bigger, I just thought there were more people on the stage. Usually in those bigger rooms, there's a wait. So I would say like hit the button. You can always leave the room when it comes to be your turn if you don't want to do it. But I say being in action in that way. So raising your hands gets you to be acknowledged by the speakers, to be brought up on stage, to either be coached, add some value, or ask a question. Usually, that's what it is.
Yeah. And it's kind of scary the first time you do it, but then when you have done it a couple of times, then I just love it because I'm an extrovert and I love to be involved.
Exactly.
But there is kind of a way to introduce yourself, like when you are called on. Could you just go through that briefly, because it seems to become the standard?
It depends on the room too. Like you have to kind of feel the room out. Some of the rooms aren't about business. So you don't want to be like, hi, my name is Beth. I'm a publicity strategist. I help entrepreneurs. Like it doesn't work like that. But I definitely like to have your one-liner. Like my one-liner is I help 6- and 7-figure business owners scale with media. That's the very string down. So if I'm in a room talking about marketing and media, immediately you know where I come from asking my question. But there's two things that I like people to do when they open their mouth, when they talk on the stage. When you open your mouth, you say, hi, my name is Beth. And then either ask the question, say who you are, whatever they're talking about. And then when you're done, thank you so much. My name is Beth Nydick. Like you have to say your name because they're fixing this on the app, but it's kind of hard to see who's speaking sometimes. And you want people to go, oh, that's Beth. I'm going to go follow her. I'm going to go see
I
what
love
she's
that.
about.
I love that, Beth, because what I had heard, and of course I mostly go into business-y rooms, and they go, my name is Judy and I'm done talking now. And I just think that is so
I don't
stupid.
do that.
I hate that.
A lot of people do. I know a lot of people do it. And sometimes I'll say, I'll say my name is Beth Nydick, or I'll say, thank you very much. My name is Beth Nydick. Like I'm done speaking. It's just, I don't like it. It's just like a little weird, or I'm complete. Yeah. And then the funniest thing is that when you're talking to people in like a Zoom conference room or doing networking, they'll do the same thing. And you're like, oh, Clubhouse. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Because it's part of the conversation now. I am complete, but it's to each their own. People like it. It's not a have to. It's a want to. And honestly, it's for me, it's like I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not like that either. And I love, see, Beth, I'm from Philly. Beth's from, North Jersey. So we're an East Coast kind of fast moving kind of gals that you're talking to here. And we're not BS. So I love it, love it, love it. Okay. Let's talk about, we already talked about stages and raising hands and etiquette. Let's talk about creating clubs. Is that an arduous process? And is it kind of tough to get approved? Let's talk about that.
So that whole approval part is no longer valid. You literally can go in and create a club in a minute. The hardest part is figuring out what you're going to say in the little information area you have for your club. But I'm going to tell you that when somebody signs on to your club, there is a section that says rules, like of the community. Be nice to each other, whatever stuff. That's an opportunity for you to put your opt-in. That's a marketing opportunity. That's real estate that you can be using, not just for be nice in my club, but also to be able to add value to what they're doing. Because there isn't another place really to be like, this is my opt-in. Because I always want everyone directing people to their opt-in, because we need to build our email list and nurture them. So that's, the clubs used to have to apply. It was a whole thing. No longer is it a thing. But I think before you do a club, I think you should host 20 rooms.
And why is that?
The following. And, I can tell you right now, I have 9 invitations for clubs. I don't know who any of these people are. And you know what? There's this one. I won't say any names. I'm going to click on her. Let's see who she is. This woman, let's call her CN. She has 65 followers. Why am I following you? Like, I don't know who you are. I haven't spoken to you yet. Like, I get invited to all these clubs because I think people just kind of hit the button. I would say host rooms for a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. See which direction you're going. See how the apps is working for you. Do you want to create a club? Like a friend of mine is like, let's create women media. I was like, no, I brand myself. My club's Beth Nydick. Because I knew that on the app, people are looking for my name. They're not looking for the name of something else. So if you have a product, branded the product, but I think you still first have to figure out what kind of audience you're going to create, and then what kind of audience that is going to follow you and what they're going to do to follow you.
I just love that. And it all, again, goes back to your brand. If you, and I say this all the time, and I'm becoming even more kind of stringent with this, which is if you haven't gotten clarity around your brand and who the heck you are and why are you so different than anybody else out there? What special gap do you fill? What is your specialty? What is really your zone of genius and expertise? And if you don't have dialed in exactly who you want to talk to, then you better just do yourself a favor and not really go on Clubhouse and really figure that out before you continue in your business, because you're just going to keep spinning your wheels. So that's really cool. I
think something like that would go in. There's a lot of rooms where like get clarity around your messaging and get the kind of coaching that maybe you need for that. But one thing, honestly, Judy, I've been thinking about a lot lately is when we use those terms, the clarity of your message, what your branding's about, who you are. I think people are getting stuck on the wording, because I know sometimes I'm like, wait, am I clear on what I'm doing? Do I have like, and then I'm like, of course you do. Like the messaging and all these words around it. Do you have something to say? And do you stand for something? And if you can answer those questions, you can figure out your branding. And because I think a lot of people get stuck at that branding piece and they just stop. But if you can tell me what you stand for or what you stand against and what you're about, I stand for creating your opportunities for your own success. I want you to be active so that you can have the option of creating the kind of lifestyle that you want to create for yourself. What I don't stand for is bullshit. I don't stand for it. I know you know that.
Yeah,
but I don't stand for it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
See,
and then that's
but
my
I think
message.
That's right. And I think a lot of women struggle with this because, especially Christian women, we're taught we don't be nice. We don't want to offend anybody. Hold on. You got to be polarizing. You got to stand for something, right? I'm all about helping my clients pursue the impossible in Christ. Be who you are in Christ. That stands for something. It's going to turn off those that don't know Christ maybe, but I'm not worried about that. And my intent certainly is not to offend. So yeah, we can't be afraid. Oh my goodness, ladies, please step the fear aside. Yeah,
step into it. I heard something today. It wasn't about Christ, but we could make it. And it was like, whoever it is, source, Christ, the universe, God, whoever you call to, like he or she, they, whoever it is, I gotta go to all the pronouns. They won't give you something that's not right for you right now. Yeah. It was like, I won't receive anything that's not right for me right now. So then it lets me let go of overwhelm and being fearful and being scared, because if I'm receiving it, he, she, it, they have determined that I need this, and this is where my path is. So if you can kind of envelop that piece, right? If you can envelop that piece, then a lot of that fear will go away. I have to tell you, the messier the action that I've done this year, the more money I've made. It's incredible. Yeah. The more I've let go of the hustle, the more I've let go of all that stuff and all the self-talk and all that area of stuff that I know everyone's going, the more you let go of it, the more successful you become. It's just the way that this entrepreneur stuff works. But Beth, the day you come to Christ, I'm going to be singing a huge hallelujah, because everything you're saying, he, they, whatever, it's Jesus. Whatever it is. It's Jesus. And so, of course, as a faith-fueled, not just faith-based entrepreneur, I couldn't let that opportunity go, because he is teaching us our lessons and his timing is perfect. Hallelujah. And so that is when whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. Right. So I love that. All right, let's wrap it up. So how should we do this? One last question before we jump to your freebie that you're offering for our ladies listening. Biggest mistakes that you're sick and tired of seeing on Clubhouse? Yeah. Being long-winded and have nothing to say. Like sometimes if I'm listening in a room and I'm waiting for my turn, I'm literally writing down what I'm going to say, because I get nervous. Everyone gets nervous. Like, and I forgot what I'm going to say. Sometimes I write a script. Sometimes I just do an outline, but being prepared and being concise, because I can't tell you how many times I've left a room because somebody's droning on, or how many times I'm hosting a room and I hear, my co-panel is like texting me, like, can you shut this person up? Oh my God. I've been in rooms like that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, being concise, being direct, these people who invite you on the stage want to help you. Everyone's there to help. I know there's been some issues with bullying and racism and, all the stuff that happens in natural society. But in my experience, everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to connect, mostly to make business connections, to be honest. Like, we're all there. I'm sharing my genius in my rooms so that somebody hears me, so that I can create the opportunity for a client. right? Judy hears me. She talks to her friend Moira. Moira is talking about PR. Oh my God, Judy, I just heard this girl, Beth, go check her out. That happens a lot, right? But for me, it's really making connections. And when somebody says to me, and it's happened a couple of times in the last 2 weeks, you've changed the way I think about this. You've changed this for me. Like, I just got the chills because somebody literally said to me, he put it like this. I've spent $100,000 on coaching and you just helped me more in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And everybody listening can do that on Clubhouse because your genius doesn't need to be paid for all the time. Your genius needs to be shared and then people will come to pay you for it. But I think people are afraid to really I'll tell you everything. Where I come in and where everybody else comes in listening, like, if no matter what you're doing, you can tell me how to do everything that you know and that you teach, but unless you do it with me, I probably won't do it. I tell people to call that, right? How many times I told people to call that TV station? How many people have done it? Very, very little. But if you work with me, you'll do it. But don't be afraid of really telling people what you think and really saying, hey, I have a solution for your problem. They'll be ever so happy, and it's good karma. You know, Jesus will be happy. God will be happy. Universe will give you something. You know, you'll have a nice shtup by your husband, whatever it is. But, you know, I think that's one of the things. It's like, come with service and you'll get,
I love it.
you'll get service.
Absolutely. And speak confidently. I love that Beth admitted that she gets nervous and she's been on all these shows. Did you hear what I said in the beginning? I mean, it's insane. And so don't let the nerves stop you. Be strong. No. Okay. So this has been great. Where can my listeners connect to you and what special thing do you have for them?
Ooh, I do have a special masterclass for anyone who's interested in learning more about how to use Clubhouse. Go to bethnydick.com/clubhouse-masterclass. And there I literally take my phone on a Zoom call and I go through every single page and I give you all the tips and tricks that I use to get the most out of the time that you spend on Clubhouse. And it's an hour-long conversation that I have an audience that has great questions, but I think the most valuable piece is really going through each of the pages so people can understand that. And while you're at the website, bethnydick.com, please go and download my Media Spotlight magazine, 10 pages of worksheets and articles, not only to get you and your business ready, but teaching you how to leverage it so you can make credibility, clients, and lots of cash.
Oh. Wow. So much said in 30 minutes. Beth, thank you, sister. Yes. You know, I love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Clubhouse, everybody.
Clubhouse. We will see you there. And ladies, if you like this episode, you have got to please pause and let us know. Give a feedback, give a rating and a review. And if you've not yet subscribed, please do so you don't miss another awesome episode. Thank you. See you next time.